Welcome to APS 1013, APS 1049, and AER 1601. What this module is about is how to work with industrial partners. So this module I'm going to show right up front in these courses to give you a sense of how you should go about working with external industry partners. So I have 3 courses that focus on working with industry partners. APS 1013 focuses on basically any company in any sector, from the oil and gas to aerospace to general manufacturing, machinery, or it could be a small startup company. It could be a company with 10,000 employees. It could be a company with 6 employees, with even 2 employees, a startup. And the whole idea is to give you exposure to the world of innovation through the whole innovation life cycle, from when companies are starting to the very mature large-scale companies who may even be collapsing. So that's what APS 1013 is focused on. And it was the very first course that I developed, working with industrial partners. And from that, I then created 2 specialty courses. AER 1601 focuses and specializes on the aerospace industry, specifically mainly civil aircraft or landing gear, but mainly in the commercial aircraft sector. So the design and building of aircraft, because I have a very strong background in that field. And it focuses on operations and production management in aerospace. And then the third applied course that works with industry partners is the Management Consulting for Engineers, APS 1049. And it focuses on working with companies like Deloitte, KPMG, Pricewaterhouse, PwC, and eventually I hope to get McKinsey and some of the big strategy firms. Also, we've worked with companies including the Canadian Association of Management Consultants. And the whole purpose of that course is to give you an insight into how the consulting profession works and what a consulting career might look like. APS 1013 focuses on getting the technical skills of what management consultants do, but also what management does. So it's not for just management consultants, it's for managers. It's managerial thinking and problem solving, etc. And so these courses are very much hands-on, very much learning tools, techniques, and management methods that you can use on the job. So if you take the aerospace course, you will actually use that on the job. There's no doubt about it. And much of your undergraduate degree in engineering science, you'll never use again. If you use 1%, you'll be lucky. I can guarantee you that what you learn in these 3 courses, you will actually use it. You'll use it in your life. No doubt about it. And that's why I've designed them this way. So let us go through quickly the modules, because I go through these modules in more depth for each course. So this video is common to all 3 courses. I set a context with APS 1012, the Management of Innovation. I'm not going to go through these details, but this is about how you design, build, sustain, and change an enterprise. Keep an enterprise up to date and performing. You cannot sit on your laurels. This course teaches you the conceptual tools, the strategic thinking, the systems thinking, design thinking that one requires as a CEO or a Chief Operating Officer to sustain and run a corporation. And there are many other, you can just look through those additional specialty modules that I have developed. I haven't necessarily run them. For example, socio-political management, the politics of running a company and changing a company. When you change how a company operates, you're affecting the status quo. When you affect the status quo, the political activity, resistance to change goes through the roof. You have to learn to manage that. So the first course I want to focus on is the Applied Innovation. 3 main parts to it. Again, there's another module, it's a good 48 minute long module that goes through each of these, another video that goes through each of these modules in much more depth, gives you a whole overview of the content. I'm just giving you a 100,000 foot overview here to set it in the context with the other 2 courses. So basically our module 1 is just orientation, and I've actually a video that tells you how the course it works on a daily basis and week to week, how you actually interact in the class. And the first part is learning a problem-solving process management methodology, because you're actually going to use that methodology in order to solve problems in industry. Now, I will also probably make this available for the management consulting course, as well as the aerospace course. You won't be using it, you will use it in the aerospace course for sure. You won't use it so much on the management consulting because you're not really solving a problem for the company. You're really focused, in the consulting course, you're focused on a career in consulting or trends in the marketplace or new services that are developed, or what new services should that company have, you know, at the time that you're doing your study. So you really want, as of today, or as of this video, those consulting firms are not asking for the problems within their company to be solved. They're asking more to focus on what are the opportunities in consulting and what kind of skill sets are required to prepare them, like KPMG or PwC or Deloitte. So in APS 1013, you're working in an industry, you're actually going to, and by the 3rd week, you go to the company and you start doing business analysis, identify what their problems are. That's module 3, so that's about week 3 or week 4. I'll also teach you in the class organizational team work. So you'll learn how to work as a team. You'll also learn in the class how to do business analysis before you actually go to the client. In week 5, you'll do conflict resolution. You'll learn how to manage conflict, because in the real world of change management, of innovation, which is all about bringing a new system, a new process, a new product, there's always conflict of some kind, whether it's among the team or among your client and the company that's doing the work, or among the management team, the internal management team, or working with suppliers. Anytime you're bringing in a change, there's always conflicts of some kind. They can be social conflicts, technical conflicts, personality conflicts, power conflicts, political conflicts, etc. And you need to be able to deal with those, at least be aware of them. So this course teaches you at least to be aware these things exist and to show you some tools of how to deal with them. The fact is, you could take a whole course itself on conflict resolution. Similarly, decision making in a creative process, you could take a whole 12-week course just on decision making. In fact, at the time of making this video, I have a friend who is late in his life, well, he's in his late 50s, is applying to do a PhD in decision making in industrial management. So that's sure to be a minimum of 3 years. So just to put in perspective, but these applied courses, these industry-based courses, are integrative courses. So in other APS Elite courses, you could study emotional intelligence as a whole course. You could study leadership as a whole course. But these courses I teach are integrative. They take all those specialty subjects and they show you how to apply them in the workplace. That's what this is about. This is about to give your career a bit of a boost. Also help you build your resume. You know, if you work with Bombardier in this, at least you can say on your resume, you know, 4 months working with Bombardier, solving a problem, or de Havilland they're called now, de Havilland aircraft, solving a problem on the Q400 aircraft line, production line at station 32 and 36, helping improve the performance of the methods that they're using to build the assemblies, for example. Okay, so you'll learn how to be creative. These are the technical sort of subjects you'll learn in the class. The third industrial trip, which is where you're drilling down more, you're starting to come up with what the real problems are and what the solutions are. That's why here, Module 7, the creative solution aligns with the industrial trip. I say there's a fourth industrial trip where you should be presenting your solutions. And there's probably a fifth industrial trip where you finalize it. So you're really looking at 4 to 6 visits at the industrial partners or clients, if you want to call them, at their site. Each of those trips should be no more than 3 hours. Each of those, the time you spend there. You have to be very, very sensitive in all these trips, not to, well, obviously you don't want to waste their time, but be sensitive about the time they're giving you. So go well prepared for the meetings. Drive the meetings. When you go there the first day, you have to tell them what you're looking for. I will have prepared them, but that doesn't mean to say that they're going to perform exactly as I want them to. I won't be there. And each year the management changes. Some of these industrial partners are long-term, but the management changes from year to year, so they're on a learning curve. They don't know what they're expecting from the students. I have a whole methodology that I lay out to them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they perform exactly as I coach them to, because I'm not working with them on the job. But that's your job. I'll teach you in the class that when you show up, you pull what you want from them. You tell them when you arrive, right, this is what we need to accomplish. Now, you would also do it with an email ahead of time, so you're setting expectations. So I teach you all this in the class. You're not showing up wondering what they're going to tell you to do. That's not the mind of a consultant or a change agent. When you're hired at very, very serious money, you got to be driving them. They don't drive you, you drive them. So when you work in professional tier 7, 8, very top level management consulting, when they're hiring you, you're there to make things happen. You're not there to ask them what should you do. If you do that, you're working at a level 3 or a level 4 middle management, if that. So just know that's the hat that I'm trying to get you to wear, just to give you experience, an emotional experience and a practical experience of how to work at higher levels. Most of you who take this are not at all capable in real professional work at this stage of doing that, but at least you get to role play it so that you know what could be ahead of you. Some of you are much older with a lot of experience and of course will have that experience. And these courses and classes, these MEng and PhD courses at the university are very much a great breadth of people from various backgrounds. But for the most part, 80% are people maybe with 2 or 3 years experience, maybe 4. Okay, so let's continue here. So that's the applied innovation. Now look, this is the management consulting. Part 1, that course is setting management consulting in context. You're going to be visiting one of the big 6, or it could be a small boutique firm, and looking at an issue they want. For example, what impact would artificial intelligence have on the management consulting profession? Or what opportunities does AI applied to enterprises and general enterprises have for management consultants to help those enterprises adapt AI, or machine learning, etc. So it's a focus on, this course is a focus on what consultants do, what the big companies do, and small boutique firms, specialty firms do, how the consulting process works, how you enter clients, how you inspire them, how you sell to them, how you identify their needs. And then the diagnostic phase, and you're going to be practicing all of this as well in a real job in the APS 1013. But here, you're going to be learning, you're going to step aside and you're going to wear the hat of a person running a management consulting company. So you're stepping outside the clients of the management consulting firms, which would be APS 1013, and you're looking at from the viewpoint of what does a management consulting company look like inside? How does it set itself up for its markets? You won't be learning the actual hands-on skills of consulting or of change or of what managers do. That's APS 1013, but you'll, in the APS 1049, you're going to finish and understand how that whole industry works and what possible careers there are and where you fit in the different levels of competencies and what the competency profiles are, etc. You're going to learn all that. You're going to learn about how to engage with clients, etc., and how to retain clients and how to end relationships in a nice way. But it's all to do with the whole life cycle of consulting, from entering, closing the deal, and leaving, and repeating it over and over. You know, one of the worst things management consultants can do is to beat a project to death just to keep ciphering fees off from a client. They catch on to that and they don't like it, you won't be called back. So for example, if you have a $100,000 assignment, you do the $100,000, but you know you could maybe get another 20,000 from them. That isn't necessarily adding the value that you added when you acquired the 100,000. That can leave a bad taste with the company. But if you exit when you finish it, then you can come back again 6 months later or a year later for another 100,000. But if you start trying to prolong a project, they catch on to that and you never come back again. So you could be depriving yourself of $1 million in the future. So these are all the things that you learn in the APS 1049. And you learn in the various consulting areas. You could be a marketing person, you could be operations and production, you could be in the very highly specialized area of engineering management, consulting in engineering management, which I created after being an expert in operations management and consulting in that field, and then manufacturing systems and being an expert in that. I then moved into the engineering, the design and product development in the aerospace. So building on each of them, I kept expanding the services. So I'll teach you all that. So how you keep yourself relevant as the changes occur in the marketplace, etc. Again, this is for people who are wanting a career in management consulting. APS 1013 is for people who want a career in management and specifically in change management innovation. It's a natural progress from APS 1012, and many of the skills in 1013 you learn, you would align them with 1049 and you'd be ready to join a consulting firm, no doubt, and they'll take it serious. One of the things I also want to say to you is these firms, you really can't choose which firm. You can try to choose which firm you want to work with, but the fact you've taken the course means these firms take you serious, because the companies that are collaborating with my courses, anybody that's gone through them, these companies will take you serious for an interview. Doesn't mean to say you get the job, but you get an interview. I'm certain of that. So the various industry sectors, you know, I started out my career doing general manufacturing. Well, started my engineering career in aerospace, but when I went into consulting, I was in Eli Lilly and SmithKline Beecham. I was in food production, drug production, consumer goods, and then I got into aerospace because I had a deep pedigree in it, and I really worked there for maybe 12 years, like of deep, very high level consulting at the C level across some of the world's top 6, 7, 8 aerospace companies. And that was the path. And then from there, I dropped it basically in around about the mid-2000s and focused on newspaper industry, publishing of newspapers, food production, machinery, family-owned machinery, machine tool business, high-speed machinery. But all the work that I had experienced in aerospace served me well in those companies. So let's continue here. This is the aerospace, the AER 1601. Again, the companies that I've worked with in the teaching in this course are Bombardier, Safran, also called Messier, Doughty, Bugatti, was originally Messier Dowdy. They built landing gear. Also now de Havilland, because the Q400 operations was bought from Bombardier at the time of making this video. So it's now a standalone company, and it's associated with a company out of Vancouver called Viking Air, and there's a holding company owns those. The people are the same people that in de Havilland are the same people that worked in these projects, most of them, when it was Bombardier. So big changes are happening as I make these videos, and there will be many more changes as the years unfold in terms of aerospace industries, breakup of companies and the consolidation of others and so on. I lived through that whole experience in the 80s and 90s of the aerospace sector in the United States, where there was maybe 20 defense companies, and it's like gone right down to maybe 4, including like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Hughes, which are another name now, but these companies were all consolidated into a small group. And Boeing acquired McDonnell Douglas and McDonnell Aircraft, 2 separate companies. McDonnell Douglas was commercial, MECAIR was the F-15, F-18, and the Harrier. And McDonnell Aircraft, the military wing of McDonnell Douglas, acquired Hughes Helicopters, which was part of the Howard Hughes Corporation out of Los Angeles. So I worked there as well as an engineer on the Apache rotor blade. And so these companies through the years, they get acquired and then their names disappear. For example, there's no such thing as McDonnell Aircraft now, it's Boeing Military. So that's what happens. Lockheed Martin was originally General Dynamics. So Martin Marietta, Lockheed merged and they acquired General Dynamics. So the word Lockheed Martin has still survived. But again, next year, these names might change. So this is what happens in all industries, but particularly in these large, especially government-driven industries like defense. So when you go in there, you're going to learn about the industry, but the focus here is yes, it's a combination of APS 1013 content knowledge that you learn. You won't get into it as much in depth in this course. I don't have the time. I will expose you to the videos, but I won't give you any academic work in terms of conflict resolution or team building. I will expose you to those videos, but you won't do any academic work in those. The academic work here will be on the aerospace enterprise environment, for example. What is the aerospace industry supply chain? What is the Lean Aerospace Initiative? What does it mean? What are the elements of Lean Aerospace? That's been an ongoing way of life in aerospace sector. How does the engineering and product development process work? This is an area where I have particularly deep expertise, as well as program management in an aircraft company, how you initiate and execute a whole new aircraft program. And then the production and the operations, the business process enterprise of an aircraft company, the product data and life cycle, how you manage product data management, and the manufacturing planning and execution, essentially ERP or MRP2 applied to the aerospace industry specifically. So in other words, how do you do your inventory control, inventory management, scheduling of the shop floor, master schedule, material planning, components that you have in stock and what you need to order, and how you manage your supplier process. So this is the software that's used in order to manage that particular aspect of running an aerospace enterprise. And then this aerospace regulation culture. So I have a specialist, very, 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 very highly specialized area of aviation regulation. Basically, it's Transport Canada or the UK Civil Aviation Authority or the American Federal Aviation Authority, the FAA. These are very, very highly regulated areas that tell you, is an airport fit for purpose? Is an aircraft fit for purpose? How do you maintain and sustain this whole system to assure you've got safety? So I've got a highly specialized person coming in to give a lecture on that. And then we look at the culture, the unions, etc., and managing change in aerospace. So this is very much obviously aerospace. So if you want a career in aerospace, I recommend you take this course. If you want a career in general industry and you want to keep general and you want to learn more the management tools for innovation and change, take APS 1013. If you want a career in management consulting, take APS 1049. So that hopefully gives you a context for how these three applied courses work together. There will be another video soon on the actual running these projects through the course, and also how to work with industry partners. But the purpose of this was to put the three applied industry collaborative courses in context with one another, just to let you make a decision up front about which course to take. Thanks very much, and we'll cover it again in class, so thank you.